Hello, Naturalist Engineer here, and today we're just driving through a little bit of HOA hell where every single house looks the same, and just thought I'd show you what I see. So here you have empty bleakness of a typical HOA pond with no riparian edge, no plants along anywhere. And it's barren, it's deep, and it's not natural. They actually don't really do anything much. They're pretty horrible, ecologically speaking. Welcome to a place where every single house looks the fucking same. And you can't tell if you're in Virginia or Florida. No identity, nothing. It's just same old, same old. You can't tell if this used to be a bog or this was uplands. You have to go to the outskirts of these little neighborhoods where they didn't completely destroy the soil layer to see what it's all about. You've got a bunch of these tiny vermin everywhere, crotch demons that are just polluting the world. Actually, I didn't want to go that way. And it's just horrible. And in the future, these ponds are going to be full of nitrates and phosphorus and all kinds of bullshit. And all it's going to do is create a bunch of algae. And because you don't have plants in there and other things soaking up all that algae, then people are going to be like, oh, we need to spray for the algae. The next thing you destroy all that. And you destroy any plant life other than algae that could have soaked it up. And you create a positive feedback loop that is quite negative. It's bad. And as you'll note, the surface temperature in a place like this is a lot hotter than had they not completely clear cut everything around it. This is a heat island. It's not as bad as like a city, but they've destroyed the soil's ability to soak in water because it's compressed, and they stripped off the top layer, which is usually more sandy. And so it's just creating this huge there's no buffer for temperature. So in the winter it's going to be colder, and in the summer it's going to be hotter. And these little ponds with all the water that's stuffed down deeper, it's not really providing that buffer like people think it does. It's better to have wetlands that stretch out across a larger area that are semi-damp rather than putting all that water in one place. And plus, you've got a situation where a lot of runoff occurs, and it just ends up evaporating rather than getting soaked into the trees, soaked into the soil, soaked into the roots, which helps more with that temperature regulation. Trees transpirate, meaning that they take up water through the roots, and then they push off water as it goes through the leaves as part of the photosynthetic process of helping to create sugar and other nutrients using the minerals and whatnot that it's soaked up. So that's why you'll get weather systems in and around forests that are isolated from other areas that are more barren. And having this temperature regulation also helps for unpredictable events like flooding. It helps soak up for floods, helps to mitigate some out of control fires and whatnot. Whenever humans disturb things too much, too fast, the pendulum swings back the other way. Just remember that. When I'm driving down one of my favorite stretches of road, this is Ashley River Road. So on the Dorchester side, it is just it's fucked up. I came from Watson Hills. That's basically the neighborhood I was just in, which is complete ecological blight, The Charleston side is a little bit better. They actually have this overhanging, situation where there's more trees. I'll show you. So if you look, there are more trees and whatnot hanging over to create this much more comfortable drive, But on the Dorchester side, they just destroy it all. And this is actually still technically Dorchester. This is a small strip before we actually get to the Charleston side. I'm guessing Middleton Plantation had a little bit to do with that, which I'm passing by right now. So people move here and they're like, oh, I love it. The overhanging trees, these plantations, which were places where they used to have slaves and whatnot. And oh, it's just so pretty. But you move here and you're destroying part of that prettiness. Now, let's say, law of conservation of matter and energy, you had people moving back up north to where you moved from, or maybe you don't have a second house and you didn't just abandon it. There's a reason why we keep destroying land, okay? So you can blame all kinds of reasons for this that are happening. It's still happening, okay? So there is a reason it's happening, which means there is something to address. So if you're tired like me, you're tired of the bullshit, you're tired of the overdevelopment, you're tired of seeing nature going to shit, you're tired of seeing all the fucked up shit going on with all the noise, all the pollution, seeing more non-native invasive plants, seeing more humans when you'd rather see more things like deer and freaking birds and cool looking like snakes and butterflies and shit, and you know what, and having more humans makes the no-see-ums and mosquitoes worse. Promise you that. No, so we end up making this situation worse with all the shit we do. We create a problem and then we make another problem worse just by trying to address the problem in the first place without addressing the root cause, because we're constantly going after a correlation rather than a cause. We are not focused on causality, and we don't like to look at ourselves in the mirror and say sometimes the simplest solution is the best one, and that is not to fuck up shit so much. And part of not fucking up shit so much is maybe don't have so many fucking kids, you know? Maybe get a fucking vasectomy, get your tubes tied. Fucking maybe consider that it sucks. You may want to have a family, but guess what? You might not, shouldn't have a family because there's too many goddamn people on this planet. 8.5 billion people and counting. I know it's not your fault, but there's too many of us. And especially here in America with the life standards that we're told that we have to have, or basically forced into having because of this Nazi fascist bullshit, that we can't live on our own land and like we have to have a certain size of a house just to live. We consume a shit pile more resources than other countries do. We are greedy. We are horrible. And I'm telling you, I'm happiest when I am around peace and quiet and not having to drive so much. And like, I would be so much more happier if I didn't have to work so much. And one of the reasons why I have to work so much is to compete with other people, because there's so many other people born into this world that are competing for the same resources. And they keep wanting more and more and more and more. And so I'm making money so that I can fight back against humanity, so that I can actually buy some land so I can preserve it and then defend it with my right to bear arms against the fucking plague of humanity. I'm a bit of a misanthropic motherfucker, I can tell you that. I'm tired of it. So you should vote for people that want to take care of a root cause rather than going after a correlation, rather than going after a symptom. Vote for people who actually think like me with a systems type thinking. You don't really need a degree in industrial engineering or master's degree in it to figure this shit out. It's called being honest with yourself by looking at shit through enough time and not putting your head in the sand, asking questions and arriving to a certain conclusion, and then you know, just saying to yourself, oh well, this can't go on forever. Imagine if you and your descendants had to share the same house for eternity. And every generation, you had one kid over replacement rate. You would literally run out of space to shove that human flesh into that fucking box. Not even talking about other resources like water and electricity and food and all that. You will literally run out of space. And guess what? Humans can't occupy this planet ad infinitum. And do you really want to test the limits of limitations of this planet? Do you really want to test what it's like to get onto one of those little boats that's supposed to save you from the Titanic that can only fit so many people, and you put 30 people into a boat that can only fit max 20? Do you really want to test it? Do you really want to test the waters of reality? Do you really want to test it? I don't fucking think so. So part of growing up is recognizing that shit is fucking limited. The rate that we are consuming shit does not equal the rate that we can repair it. We are doing damage that is going to take millions of years to recover. Sand is non-renewable for one. So I've gone on a rant. I'm already home. But anyways, I just want to say, if you have 1 or 2 kids, you've done some ecological damage, okay? Unless you're asking somebody else, hey, can you have 1 less kid in your life? Can you have 1 less kid? You're asking a lot. You know, I can't have negative kids, guys. I can't have negative kids to make up for all the other, stupid fucking rednecks out there having 7 kids. I can't have negative kids. Unless I was going out there and like, pew, 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 but I'm not going to do that. That's murder. I won't want to do that. I'm all about preventing this shit. I'm all about preventing it. So get a fucking vasectomy, man. Be a fucking man and help your women and get a vasectomy. And you know what? You will save money. The more money you have, the more you can fight against humanity like me, realizing how fucked we are. And you can actually save that money to buy land, to buy whatever guns you need, whatever else you need to secure it so you can actually save some species from fucking extinction. Because humanity will go down. Trust me, we're going to run out of oil, we're going to run out of coal, and even if we did run out of that shit, our overpopulation is fucking up the planet. We are fucking up the planet. We are in an extinction event. So, just looking at the neighborhood made me want to say, get a vasectomy, be pro-abortion. I don't like to say people should have an abortion if it's over 12 weeks because that might be infringing upon it being conscientious or conscious, whatever. But ultimately, the goal is not to even have to have an abortion. You should have access to things that prevent you from even getting impregnated. So that's why I say, men, you need to step up, men. You need to step up and get a fucking vasectomy now, god damn it. This has been the Naturalist Engineer. Peace and fuck the fascist.